Well, I think if the budget is to be significant and of significant value, then a few things have to be done. Everybody knows that economic growth is generated by investments, and 86% of the domestic investment, which is actually 97% of the total investment. So 86% of the domestic savings, which is 97% of the total investment, comes from the households. These last few years of heavy inflation, the households are feeling a great deal of pressure. So in my opinion, the households have to be encouraged, and they can be encouraged by two things. One, a complete abolition of income tax, and two, a minimum of 9% for term deposits in banks. So if both these are done, in my opinion, the people will get enthused, they will have sufficient money to save that money, and if they save it in term deposits of 3 to 5 years, I would say 3 years, then certainly they will be putting all that money into bank deposits, and bank deposits means translation into investment. The second thing is you have to encourage the small and medium industries, which has been in tremendous neglect in the last few years. And the main problem with small and medium industries is the rate of interest, which has been increasing over the years. And it's shocking that a country with such a dire need for investment should have been raising the interest rate so high. It appears to me that the Reserve Bank governor thinks that the only way to control inflation is not by increasing production, but by increasing interest rates. And that's like saying that the best way to bring down the temperature of a patient is to kill him. And obviously a dead body will have no temperature. So therefore, I think this approach is wrong, and what we need to do is reduce interest rates, and I would not reduce it to below the prime lending rate, below 9%. So 9% on fixed term deposits, 9% on loans taken by individuals or small and medium industries. So this is the second thing. The third thing is that this rupee has gone now to nearly 70 rupees. Now, this is a disastrous for imports, but it is excellent for exports. But exports, the demand in Western countries is not likely to be revived. So you have to therefore take advantage of this almost $300 billion of reserves, and allow for some extra imports to refurbish the capital goods in the country. The capital goods industry has suffered heavily. It's not producing all the capital goods that are cheap enough for the small and medium industries. The third thing is we have to put in measure which will convert our agriculture from 100% or practically 100% domestic enterprise to a globalized sector, because our agriculture products are the cheapest in the world, and therefore we need to give it subsidies for exporting, and the WTO will accept it because we are the only country whose calculations show that you can subsidize up to 50,000 crores more for agriculture. All the others, the difference between the international price and their domestic price is such that it is negative. That is, the domestic price is much more than the international price. India is the only rare exception, particularly of large countries, where the domestic price is much below the international price. So the agriculture should be made into given all the assistance, including cold storages, easy loans, low interest loans, interest rate loans, etc., and enable them to export abroad, and that will mean that in the long run you will not need subsidies for agriculture. As far as the employment generation is concerned, we need many more skilled labor, so that for our ITIs, not IIT, but ITIs, Industrial Training Institutes, should be refurbished to give much more advanced education than how to use a screwdriver, and may put them in the market so that they can work as employees in the small and medium industries. So this is the 4-5 steps I think that the government should take. Otherwise we are heading on a spiral downwards. We rely on stock market as an indication of health. The stock market is completely completely rigged today in our country, and this is because of black money. And black money measures are not going to be really something that you need a budget for, or a budget speech, but we need to do something about that. That's a separate issue.
Just 3 small additional points. Why are we not stopping commodity futures trading just on our agriculture? And does this have a link to the participatory note kind of funding?
Yes, in fact, black money gets translated into white money by industrialists using forward trading in agriculture. And farmers will not accept checks, so you pay them in cash, and nobody questions it, and there's no income tax for agricultural income anyway. And then the stocks that they buy is put in cold storages, so that an artificial shortage is created, and that leads to much higher prices, and then it is sold. So that's why our agriculture prices are so much fluctuating, suddenly rising, suddenly falling, because of this forward trading, and I think it should be abolished. Just as participatory notes also have to be abolished, because all it does is recycle your black money by making it go abroad and then coming back as participatory notes. This is the most evil instrument which no other country in the world has, only India has, and therefore we must cancel it.
PSU NPAs, the extent of which is largely unknown. How do we tackle that issue?
It's a huge problem. In fact, the banks are on the verge of collapse. They require decapitalization. We have to identify of these NPAs who are the big guys who have taken advantage of it, and then locate the subsidies they are getting from the government in terms of excise, exemptions. So many exemptions they get. These are hidden subsidies, and those subsidies should be removed, or their properties should be seized and auction taken place. But they have to start paying, and most of them you will find are big people who owe the thing. Like Malia, for example. Now Malia has fallen to bad days, so we are seeing how he's being being immiserated. But the fact of the matter is that there are many Malias in our system, and we have to tackle them all.
Last question is the oil prices dropping. We do not seem to have taken advantage of that. What should be the next steps?
No, I think that part I agree. I mean, what a great gift of God that suddenly the oil prices dropped to $35 a barrel or less. I mean, from what it was $130 a barrel once upon a time. And it is something that we should have made much of. But instead of that, we can't go on assuming that this price will remain this low. Any war can change everything. But I would say that we should have done much more finding substitutes for oil, such as hydrogen fuel cells for automobiles, the development of the thorium reactor. These are solar energy. These are something we ought to do. At the same time, for water, we should use desalination of seawater. We've got a huge coastline. The whole Indian Ocean is before you to desalinate, but we haven't done it.
Thank you.